Hey, what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing today? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater. And I am a big fan of the Planet of the Apes movies, right? Ever since the 1968 original, starring Charlton Heston, I have been a fan of the franchise. It is crazy. It's absurd. It's over the top in so many ways, but it's still absolutely glorious. I love the original 5 films. I even liked Tim Burton's 2001 adaptation / remake. I did. I really wanted to see more out of that particular damn franchise. Unfortunately, it never happened, but we got the new one from 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes to 2000 and I think it was 17's War for the Planet of the Apes, and in between was the excellent Dawn for the Planet of the Apes. And Matt Reeves did a great job on the last 2 of them, which is why Batman I think is in really good hands. But still, we know that now that Disney owns Fox, Planet of the Apes is currently on the reboot block, and we're finding out a little bit more about that coming to us from Discussing Film. This is the actual website, not the Sussing account that tweaked everyone over the Obi-Wan thing. Now it says here, Daniel Dorrance joins Planet of the Apes reboot for 20th Century Studios. Saying here, we've learned that Daniel Dorrance has joined the crew for Wes Ball's Planet of the Apes reboot. Wes Ball will write and direct the new Planet of the Apes reboot with David Stark and John Hartwig Jr. set to produce. Now, the thing is Wes Ball did the Maze Runner trilogy, which I thought was really well done, especially the first one. And he was also working on Mouse Guard, which if you've seen the 10 minutes of that got leaked out there, because when Disney came in to go over Fox, they killed Mouse Guard, and they were already like 2 weeks into production on it. And the thing is, it looked cool. They released the test footage. It looked amazing. But this is where Daniel Dorrance worked alongside Wes Ball as the production designer for some of his films, including Scorched Trials and the Death Cure. And then he was working on Mouse Guard. Now, sources say that the film will be a reboot, so it's unlikely that it will be connected to the previous Planet of the Apes trilogy that was done under 20th Century Fox. The writer's prediction here is that it will reboot the original 1968 film. The film is targeting to begin filming later this year, which will likely mean a 2022 release. Now, the thing with that I don't like is that you had this excellent prequel trilogy, and it set up the 1968 Planet of the Apes in Rise. It did. It set it up in Rise. And they could just pick up from where this one left off. When the astronauts land on Earth, they can find effigies to Caesar. They can find remnants of Caesar. They can find remnants of all of those things. They can hear stories passed down through generation after generation of the great almighty Caesar. They can do so much with all that. And it would be a great way to expand out the lore of the Planet of the Apes, to keep it connected, to keep it synergistic, if that's even a word, to have the synergy there, to create a Planet of the Apes universe that continues the story. And I understand, like, Wes Ball loves the original films. He has said that himself. He really loves the original films. So I know that they're going to try to probably just reboot the original. And I know everyone's going to be like, well, it's got to be better than the Tim Burton one. I liked it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. But coming over here to the to numbers.com and looking at the Planet of the Apes earnings, right, what they've all done, we can see here that the original 1968 film was under $6 million budget, but did a worldwide box office of $33 million, not bad. Beneath was half that and did half the budget, actually did half the take home, which is great. But anyway, moving up here, the production budget for Planet of the Apes in 2001 was $100 million. And it pulled in $362 million worldwide, which is not terrible. It's pretty good. Rise of the Planet of the Apes had a smaller production budget, but pulled in nearly $500 million with $470 million worldwide. Dawn, 3 years later, really expanded the production budget, and it paid off actually by going from $470 to $710 million. And then War for the Planet of the Apes didn't crack the 500 million worldwide, but I do believe it had a lot to do with what was coming out at the same time. When Dawn of the Planet of the Apes came out in July 2014, it was up against The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which failed to really kind of capture a lot of the box office. This time around, War for the Planet of the Apes was up against Spider-Man Homecoming, interestingly enough, and I think that did suck some of the air out of the box office. The box office for 2017 was a little bit different than 2014, all things considered, but we can see here that these movies combined have pulled in over $1.6 to $1.7 billion for those movies based upon production budgets of of under 375, somewhere in there, definitely under 400 million. So the return on investment is extremely high for the Planet of the Apes movies, for the Planet of the Apes trilogy. Disney would be dumb to let Wes Ball just reboot the 1968 original without holding the continuity from the previous trilogy. We are really at a point now where fans are getting sick and tired of these kind of reboots, right? These soft reboots, Oh, it's a soft reboot. It's just gonna neglect and negate everything you ever known. It's just gonna get rid of all that. But don't worry, it's somewhat tangentially connected. Listen, Disney, you're not the DCEU. Stop effing around. There is more money in continuity. There is more money in keeping all of these things together. You know it, and I know it. Fans out there who love the Planet of the Apes trilogy here are going to go see this new movie if it takes place, if it's like the fourth one. Yeah, let it be a reboot of the original, but keep it tied into the continuity. It ain't that hard. As I just said, you could, it's easy to tie it together. Just put up some effigies of Caesar, just talk about his legacy, his lineage. Is the alpha of the tribe a descendant of Caesar himself? What's going on? All of those things. It wouldn't be that hard to do. We're literally talking lines of dialogue and a couple pieces of graphical art. That's it. And then it keeps it within the continuity. Don't mess this up, man. I feel like this is just it's frustrating at this point because we know how much Disney likes money. And I think that we do. And I get kind of protective over these things because it's frustrating. Just keep them together. Keep part of the same line. We've seen the success of the MCU. I'm not saying turn the Planet of the Apes into superheroes with this massive interconnected universe and stuff, but there's nothing wrong with continuity. There's nothing wrong with continuing the story. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what Wes Ball's up to. He could be doing his own thing. He could find a way to tie it together. I think that Alan Horn is dumb if this is the direction he allows it to go. If this is the direction he allows it to go. Look, from War to the new Planet of the Apes, clearly there are several hundred years. I forget how many years specifically, but there are 700 years or something like that, right? There's a long time in between. So there's time to expand the lore and to do all these things. Totally 100%. But just tie it together. Tie it together and fans are going to lose their mind and fans are going to show up at the theater. Otherwise, who is this movie for? The people who were alive in 1968, the boomers that are like, man, I really enjoyed the Charlton Heston movie. Too bad he's dead and can't be in this one. Huh. I mean, that's what you're going to get. That is literally, legitimately 100% what you're going to get. Because even though people like me, who are in our late 30s, who grew up watching Planet of the Apes on VHS and old TBS or TNT showings, and love the movie, and still laugh when we think of The Simpsons doing the Planet of the Apes musical. Dr. Zayas, all that stuff. It's great stuff. It's great pop culture. But we're dealing with a different age of people now, right? Billions more, in fact. China is not going to care about the original, and this is going to be supposed to do well in China. But if you tie it to the other films, you might be able to build up that audience loyalty that you've been craving so much with Star Wars. For the love of God, do not mess this up. I know I'm going off on it. I get it. Is it we don't know anything yet, Matt. You're going to get too ahead of yourself here. You're getting too worked up. You're getting too upset over this. It's just a movie. But, I'm just saying, it's like these executives these days, man. They don't know their heads from their bungholes. They don't know anything these days. They just sit there and they go, Look, if you want the money, it's not hard. I'm worried. Okay, let me be fair real quick. I am worried that the theater going experience is dying. I am. I am. I'm worried that in the next 5 to 10 years, man, like people are going to just be streaming these movies to VR headsets, and that's going to be it. That's what I'm worried about as a movie lover. And every time they make it, if they make dumb decisions like this, it takes people away from the experience of going. It takes away from that particular type of event experience. And since that's right now what's keeping movie theaters alive, really, that and like animated movies, you know, why not? Why not make the play to like start playing up these stories? I don't know. Anyway. Your guys' thoughts, your guys' opinions, let me know down in the comments below. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, everyone, and peace out.